The Mg34 is one of the most classic machine guns for Germany during the Second World War. It was used everywhere from the Russian steppe to the deserts of North Africa. However, with a great reputation, how does it perform in Enlisted? Let's find out now in this Weapons and Vehicles episode of Enlisted. My name is Napoleon, and let's just get started with the video off the bat. Before we start on how to use the Mg34, let's start with the history of the Mg34. After the First World War, the Germans realized they need a new machine gun. This was seen in the development of the Mg13, which will definitely get its own video. The motivation, design, weapon, and engineering. The German arms design worked abroad and for foreign assistance for this new machine gun. In 1932, the Reichswehrministerium, or the Ministry of the Reichswehr, ordered several copies, including Rheinmetall, to develop a new universal machine gun to replace several specific machine guns in the German use. The following specifications for a new weapon was lightweight, had to be lightweight, had to be a simplified operation, it has to be a quick barrel change, and has single shot capacity as well as slower and faster silic rates. The Mg34 was based on the 1930 Rheinmetall design of the direction of Louis Stray's Rheinmetall office, the Mg30. The American and Swiss military, the Swiss and Austrian militaries also license and produce the Mg30 in their services. The technical challenges of meeting the Reichswehr of a lightweight universal machine gun for a broader use also encompass various mounts and other accessories adapted to the roles. The Mg30 was adapted by Mauser Industries, also meaning a lot of stuff. Yeah. Most of these stuff are political and I don't really get it, but Vollmer originally designed the Fed system to accept the Mg13, Mg15, which inspired a 75-round Patronen magazine on both of those weapons and on the Mg34. So, yeah, the 75-round magazine, P, I'm just gonna call it for short, has the P-34 round magazine was a complex magazine system which the fitting device has to be used on requiring ordnance personnel and the specialized tools for optimizing the spring tension under reliable feeding, much like that of the PPSH-41, meaning that this thing can jam. Users were ordered to adjust the drum spring tensions, and the result was the multiple capable roll of the Mg34, whereas the Rheinmetall's Skodabaden plant has significant influence, rejected the idea of a universal machine gun, meaning that there was only one company of making the universal machine gun, and that was Rheinmetall. The final version of the Mg34 was adopted in service on 24th of January 1939. Yes, adopted into service in 1939. The Mg34 was the mainstay of German army support and weapons for the large-scale production issue in 1935 until 1942. It was the servant plant of the next generation machine gewehr in 1942. Although the Mg34 was fairly reliable, it was sensitive to extreme weather conditions, dirt and mud, and especially when it had to be maintained and dominant on the battlefield. It was the distribution throughout all German forces, because this thing was given to every squad, was hampered due to the inability to mine precision engineering with tight tolerances and the use of high quality metal alloys, which resulted in a high production of a machine gun time. It also required even more skilled labor requirements and costly production and a relatively slow rate of fire and production. Not a rate of fire, a rate of production. I can't speak today. Mg34 production during the war amounted to 3,500 units, around 12,000 in 1939, 54,000 in 1940, 80,000 in 1941, 63,000 in 1942, 48,000 in 1943, and 61,000 in 1944. Not to mention the 20,000 in 1945. Attempts to improve the fundamental drawbacks of the basic Mg34 failed, and therefore its successor, the Mg42, was used by Germany to be used as mass production. In 1943, the Mg42 surpassed production of Mg34 production and continued to do so until the end of the war. That said, the Mg34 was still a very capable gun. The Mg34 fires from open bolt, and this helps maintain the barrel at the front ends and the firing, allowing airflow through to help it cool faster. What's also interesting is the fact that while it charges and fires the next bullet the chamber until the trigger is squeezed again. Thus, the cartridges are prevented from risking of cool-offs from high caliber temperatures after a long burst of automatic fire. The firearm was designed to have a rotating barrel bolt operation by short recoil added by muzzle boosters. When the firearm is ready to fire, the bolt is pulled back to the rear and is held back by the stir. When the pull of the trigger, the shear designates sending the bolt forward under pressure from the recoil spring. A cartridge is then stripped into the magazine or the belt, and the round is pushed into the chamber. Basically, essentially, the gun goes back, the next round comes in, and boom, the next round goes out. That is the human version of what I'm saying. As the bolt moves into the battery, the bolt rotates, engaging the lock and the chamber, locking the barrel, pulling the lock in place. The servo strikes, ignites the piter, and the round is fired. The recoil causes the barrel to move backwards, which is basically the human term of recoil. The rearwards movement of the bolt causes the rotating thing to go back again. The bolt comes back, the next one comes in, boom, next shot is fired. And the sent barrel is then ejected from another place, and yeah, so basically how a gun usually works. The Mg34 comes with the standard iron sights, coinciding with the V sight mounted on the posts of the rear and a single blade of the front. The sight comes calibrated from ranges of 200 to 2,000 meters, 219 and 2,187 yards in 100-meter increments. The straight line sight had 530 millimeters in sight radius, and the Mg34 has accepted a variety of sighting systems, such as a spider web type anti-aircraft sight, or the telescopic sights used in certain roles. I kid you not, this Mg34 has a telescopic sight. It's really, really interesting. But that's it for all the history and all the characteristics. Let's just go on to the Mg34 in-game and how it performs. In Enlisted, there are two versions of the Mg34, one being the regular Mg34 and the one being the Mg34P with the 75 round magazine. Let's start with the Mg34. The Mg34 is a 5-star machine gun, and as the game puts it, the starting Mg34 only has 2 stars. The Mg34 has some damage reduction over time of 12 hit power at 10 meters, 10 hit power at 100 meters, 9.6 hit power at 300 meters, 8.4 hit power at 400 meters, 3.6 hit power at 600 meters, 1.2 hit power at 1000 meters, 0.1 hit power at 1500 meters. Notice this hit power change, if you've been watching my Beretta video, is exactly the same for all the weapons, machine guns in Enlisted. I'm not going to go over armor penetration because that's essentially the same. Muzzle velocity of 750 meters per second. Rate of fire is 730 to 800 shots per minute. Reload time of 5.7. So that's quite long. Vertical recoil 15. Horizontal recoil 17. Fed system of 50 round magazine. Weight of 10 kilograms, so you're going to be moving quite slowly. Cartridge mass of 26.2 grams. Firing modes is only fully automatic. The 6-star version is a little bit different in the sense that it's 13.2 at 10 meters, 11.9 at 100 meters, 10.6 at 300 meters, 9.2 at 400 meters, 4 at 600 meters, 1.3 at 100 meters, and 0.1 at 1500 meters. This is exactly the same for all the machine guns, 6-star or max stars. The muzzle velocity is still 750 meters per second. Rate of fire has been increased to 800 to 880 shots per minute. Reload time of 4.8. Vertical recoil 15. Horizontal recoil 19. So pretty much the recoil is the same. And fed system of 50 round magazine, all the same. Next we have the Mg34 with the P34 magazine. This Mg34 has a 75 round magazine. Oh great, which means it's quite heavier. The specifications are exactly the same as to the Mg34 regular version, like they're exactly the same thing, with this time with a 75 round magazine. The 6-star version is also exactly the same with a 6-round magazine. An interesting thing is that the what do you call it? The magazine size is also quite the magazine changing size, or the reload time is changed which is really kind of interesting considering the fact that one is a 50 round magazine and the other one is a 70 round magazine, but okay. Alright. Not a big problem. And yeah, that is it for the stats. Let's move on to the recap section, in which I go over what I think of the Mg34. In my mind, the Mg34 is a wonderful weapon. I really like to use the weapon. Some of the downsides are that it has a pretty big horizontal recoil, but hey, it's not that bad. But hey, that can be also a good side in the sense that this machine gun just goes around mowing down entire squads. But yes, that is a very good weapon. I've been told by some people that they rather prefer to use the Mg34 somewhat like a semi-automatic weapon, in the sense that you just fire a small burst of it, like what you would do with most machine guns historically. You fire a small burst of the weapon, and yeah, that's essentially how it works. Honestly, I don't have much to say. The Mg34 is a pretty good machine gun. I'm just gonna put it right there. Nothing much, nothing more. I can't say in terms of all the machine guns in game, I can't say it's run of the mill, because in my mind it is slightly better, but hey, it's a machine gun for the Axis that's actually pretty good for all campaigns, and in some campaigns you get the at the very end for a reason. The Mg34 is, although I would not say, once again, I would not say is the run-of-the-mill machine gun. In some campaigns, it is way better than what you get with other machine guns. But that's it for today, guys. Really a good machine gun. Not the best, but definitely not the worst. That's it for today, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, before you leave, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. I would be honored if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, more videos are coming out, so it is a good idea to click on that notification button. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.